2-5 hand, and the reason for this, I guess, is to see if I missed some value, if I could pull a little bit more out of this or not.
Okay.
Villain is new to the table, maybe there 30 minutes. No significant info, but he appears weak passive.
Okay.
Hero raises 25 with 2 red 9s over 1 limper, under the gun plus 1 limper.
Okay.
The villain on the button calls, as does the limper and the big blind, so we see the flop 4-way.
So the big blind calls and the limper calls, and then who else calls?
The villain on the button.
Okay, big blind calls, button calls, and limper calls. So 4 ways, right?
Right.
Okay.
The villain has 500, and I cover.
Okay.
100 in the middle. Flop comes out 9, 10, 4, all clubs.
9, 10, 4, all clubs. Okay.
All right, it checks to the hero. I bet 70.
So it's a
Villain calls.
Right, you got middle set on here on a monotone board, right?
Right.
Yep. Okay.
Villain calls, and the other 2 fold.
Villain is the under the gun guy, right? Or on
No,
the
the
button?
villain is. Yeah, so he's got position on me.
Okay. All right.
All right. 240 in the middle. The turn is 2 hearts.
Okay.
I bet 150, and villain calls.
So what do you think he has right now? Well,
I'm either crushed with the nuts, which is unlikely. I think he would have raised flop or turn. He could have 2 pair. He could have a pair and a draw. I think that's a lot of his range. He could have just overs with the ace of clubs on the flush draw.
So at this point, the pot has 540, and you have about 250 left, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Now, I guess the first question is, what do you think about the sizing on both the flop and the turn?
Well, I mean, 70's fine, I think, into 100. He makes the call. You bet. I think it's all fine. I mean, he could be sandbagging something. He could have a hand like ace-10 with the ace of clubs, something like that. He could have a high club. He could have king-queen with a club. It's kind of an awkward spot, which is tough for, like, these levels because, what do you do here at the end? I think it really depends, actually, on the river card, too. What comes on the end? If it's an over card, obviously, if it's a club, I would assume that you're toast, but... it's going to be difficult to bet and fold for sure,
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with that. The river, I thought, was actually a reasonable card for me to get a little value. It was the ace of spades.
Okay, so the river's the ace of
And
spades.
I was thinking that, part of his range is ace-x with the ace of clubs. So now he hits a pair, maybe 2 pair.
Right,
maybe
he could.
ace-10.
Right, also, too, he could have like a hand like ace-10, something like that. The thing is that even though I don't, and now this is not a spot where I would do it, but one of the things that I actually went through my head there was, would I ever check call on some rivers to induce a bluff? Like if the river came off like a 3, is there a possibility that I actually might check call? It really comes down to if you think this guy would blindly bluff at it. But now that the ace comes, I probably would bet. It doesn't matter because we're trying to get called by an ace of clubs, something like that. So what did you do here at the end?
Well, I targeted an ace-x and bet 125.
Okay. So, I mean, you only really have 125 left after the bet, right?
Correct.
Yep.
As I thought, what's he going to pay me off with just an ace on that board?
Right.
Now, that's the real question for why I called in.
Yeah.
Should that be a shove? Is the 125 targeting an ace reasonable? Do you overbet with the shove, so it looks like maybe I missed a draw? Do you check, try to pick off a bluff?
Yeah, I don't think I check there. I just don't think that. I think it looks like you're going to check call. I mean, it is a little bit awkward with the stack sizes, and if he shoves, it's definitely very awkward. And he might be slow playing a flush, but I just don't think that you've done anything wrong here. You might size smaller, possibly. You might size the pot's 540 though, but I mean, even if you go 100 and he ships for 150, I think you're a little bit handcuffed here, to be honest, with the stack sizes. Did he end up calling or did he re-raise?
No, he folded.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, this really comes down to the crux of like, do you think a guy is going to just blindly bet all in? Because this is the thing, Dave. Like, I really feel like people don't bluff enough, and when they do bluff, it's not in a spot where it looks like you're going to check call, right? Like, if you've got two
right.
red kings or two, let me ask you this question, Dave. If you have two red kings or like, say, two red queens here, or you know what I mean?
Right.
You would probably play this the same way, right? Up until the river.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but now on the river, you would check, right?
Correct. I would check call the river.
Right, right. You would check call, right? Because what is he betting at the end, right? Because
Right.
a lot of guys are going to check it back. I mean, you could check call or check fold, but you're not going to. And that's the thing. Like, it's just, I don't know if a guy's going to blindly bet out there at the end as a bluff. You know what I'm saying?
And it felt kind of dirty betting anything less than 100, 100 and a quarter.
Yeah, it's just.
Five.
Yeah, it's really tough because of the way that the hand went down. So, with the stack sizes. But thanks for the call.